Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving into, well, a really captivating world. You've got cutting-edge Victorian engineering colliding with these dark river mysteries, a secret society, and a quest for this truly extraordinary invention.
Yeah.
Our source material, the Minutes of Lazarus Club, it's this rich first-person account, puts us right in the shoes of a London surgeon, Dr. Phillips.
Right.
And he's navigating this swirling plot of ambition, scientific marvels, and some really shocking crimes. So our mission really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, the insights from this incredible narrative, guide you through the surprising connections, those aha moments lurking just beneath the surface.
Absolutely. And what's, I think, truly insightful right from the start is how this story, it isn't just a plot, it functions as a kind of powerful case study. It really forces us to examine how these brilliant innovations, maybe born from pure curiosity, can so easily get, well, co-opted, corrupted, even when they intersect with ambition and power.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental question this narrative unpacks, I think.
Yeah.
How do individual innovations, however brilliant, get tangled up in these much larger, often darker schemes? And what does that tell us about the ethics of progress?
And that opening scene, it just drops us right into that darkness, doesn't it? Into the grim reality of the River Thames. The story kicks off with a waterman doing his daily, and let's be honest, pretty unpleasant duty, clearing floaters.
Yeah, floaters, a grim term.
Right. That's what they called the dead bodies turning up in the river. He even got a small bonus for each one he fished out. But on this particular day, what he found was just beyond gruesome. What's the detail that really chills you about these initial discoveries?
For me, it's got to be that line about the dreadful thrashing form of the eel found inside the victim.
Ugh.
The source details her injuries with just chilling precision. Carved, deliberately cut open, slit from stem to stern, with all her internal organs missing. Heart, lungs, everything. Gone.
Horrific.
And that visceral detail, eel, it adds this almost unnatural horror to an already deeply disturbing crime. And it wasn't, an isolated incident either. Multiple bodies, all female, were being pulled from the river with the exact same horrific wounds. The police identified them as prostitutes.
It definitely sets a tone, doesn't it? A kind of visceral reality, this world where the macabre is just bubbling under the surface of everyday life. And the police, led by Inspector Tarlow, they got involved quickly. His initial theory was disturbing in itself. These were prostitutes, yes, but the work of a mass murderer. Someone who killed for sheer pleasure and collected organs as a kind of compulsion.
Right, a collector.
And Dr. Phillips, our protagonist, he gets drawn into this investigation, maybe a bit reluctantly, but also, with a surgeon's eye for detail. And here's where it really starts to mess with his life. Tarlow actually started to suspect Phillips himself.
Yeah, you can see why. From Tarlow's perspective, the coincidences were, well, they looked pretty damning. Phillips accidentally stumbles upon one of the bodies. Then he leaves London for a bit. And wouldn't you know it, the murders stop.
Right. Bad timing.
Terrible timing.
Yeah.
And then, naturally, when he comes back, they start up again. It certainly made the inspector look twice. The narrative does a clever job, actually, putting us in Tarlow's shoes, letting us see how circumstantial evidence can really warp perception.
So while these gruesome secrets are literally surfacing from the Thames, Dr. Phillips's professional life at St. Thomas's Hospital was, well, in its own way, equally stark, demanding. We're talking about a time when bodies were often boiled down to the bones, to create anatomical skeletons for study. A pretty macabre practice by our standards today.
Definitely.
And it's amidst these stark realities of Victorian medicine that he encounters this figure who will just completely reshape his understanding of what's possible. Isambard Kingdom Brunel, the legendary civil engineer.
And it is striking, isn't it? How Brunel, a man whose genius was so undeniably mechanical, showed this really unusual, almost intense interest in human anatomy. He'd even observed Phillips's operations.
Yeah.
It seemed a strange, almost unsettling curiosity for an engineer. But this wasn't just a fleeting interest, was it? It was like a doorway into something much bigger.
You're absolutely right. What's really fascinating is that Brunel isn't just some casual observer. It turns out he's right at the heart of this fascinating secret society.
Yes.
This was the Lazarus Club. And its name, wonderfully, came from none other than Charles Babbage, the eccentric inventor.
Right, Babbage.
Apparently, Babbage had whimsically calculated the statistical chances of a dead man coming back to life, and Brunel thought, perfect. Perfect name for a club dedicated to pushing the boundaries of the known.
Babbage himself was quite the character, wasn't he? I mean, beyond his groundbreaking but ultimately unfinished difference engine and analytical engine. These are basically mechanical computers designed to eliminate human error in critical calculations like navigational charts.
Crucial stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But he was also famously peculiar. The source even mentions him once drenching a poor busker with wine from a decanter just to get them to stop playing.
Oh, my goodness.
These weren't just stuffy academics. They were brilliant, flawed human beings.
And the club was this incredible gathering of Victorian geniuses. Alongside Brunel and Babbage, you had Robert Stephenson, the railway pioneer, Van Hawes, the Undersecretary of State for War, Lord Catchpole, a powerful industrialist known as King Cotton.
King Cotton, yeah.
John Stringfellow, who was pioneering flying machines, he was also a member. And even Florence Nightingale made a brief but apparently quite notable appearance, contributing to discussions on hospital reform, nursing.
A real powerhouse group.
Just a who's who of 19th century innovation.
It truly was. And it was at the Lazarus Club, interestingly, that Charles Darwin presented his theory of evolution by natural selection.
Wow.
But this particular twist with Catchpole, it's a chilling reminder of how easily scientific theories, even ones as groundbreaking as Darwin's, can be sort of weaponized, distorted by powerful figures to justify, existing social hierarchies or even prejudices.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
Darwin himself was apparently deeply concerned about this. He called it a Pandora's box that he'd opened.
Huh.
Dr. Phillips's role in all of this, well, it was initially suggested by Brunel. He was impressed by Phillips's meticulous case notes.
His record keeping.
Exactly. He saw it as a rare talent.
Right.
So Phillips was appointed the minute keeper, a position the club believed was vital because, as the source puts it, the key to an important scientific or engineering advance may lie in a particular comment, the answer to a question, perhaps even in the question itself. It really speaks to the value they placed on every little detail.
Now let's get to the heart of it, literally. The central invention of this story, Brunel's mechanical heart. Initially, he presented it as, just a way to mimic organic function, a purely scientific curiosity,
Right. Innocent enough.
But he soon revealed its far more ambitious and, frankly, dangerous purpose. It was meant to be the engine for a submersible, an underwater boat, or as he called it, a cigar fish.
A cigar fish.
Packed with explosives, essentially a torpedo.
Wow.
And its unique design meant it could operate in a totally sealed unit. No fire, no fumes, which was astonishing for the era. Think about traditional steam engines guzzling air, belching smoke.
Completely impractical underwater.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This made Brunel's device perfect for an underwater craft, basically a silent, deadly weapon.
And to actually build this revolutionary device, Brunel commissioned a mechanical engineer, Leonard Wilkie, to create some essential components.
Right.
But things took a very dark turn when Wilkie was murdered in Bristol. And his workshop burned down. Phillips himself barely escaped with the package, the mechanical heart, aided by Wilkie's young son, Nate. And in a desperate act to evade whoever was pursuing them, Phillips actually threw the package overboard.
Into the
water. And this incident, it marks a critical turning point. It's where the scientific pursuit explicitly collides head-on with violence and espionage.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, that mechanical heart isn't just some scientific oddity anymore, is it? It becomes the absolute linchpin of a dangerous geopolitical scheme.
Precisely.
It turns out Russell Brunel's partner on the Great Eastern Project, that massive ship, he'd tried to sell the torpedo design, even without Brunel's special engine, through an agent named Perry.
Okay.
And Perry worked for this firm, Blythe's, that built warships and procured weapons for foreign clients. So this isn't just about an invention in a lab anymore. It's about its potential global impact. Big stuff.
Indeed. And the ultimate mastermind pulling the strings behind this whole plot was Lord Catchpole, King Cotton, the industrialist we mentioned earlier.
Catchpole.
His motivation was chillingly pragmatic. He wanted to supply the southern states of America with the torpedo.
Before the Civil War?
Exactly. In anticipation of the Civil War. He believed this would give them an upper hand, secure the vital cotton trade for his mills, humble the USA, and ultimately benefit his business and, as he saw it, the interests of the British Empire.
Wow. Talk about high stakes.
It's a stark example, isn't it? How national and personal economic interests can just drive the corruption of scientific advancement.
This whole complex plot also involves some really deep personal obsessions. Enter Occam,
Ah, Occam.
a member of Brunel's staff, one of the founders of the Lazarus Club. Now, Occam initially mistrusts Phillips. He even confronts him with what he calls Occam's razor.
The philosophical principle?
Sort of. The idea that the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. And in Occam's suspicious mind, Phillips's presence, his connection to Wilkie made him the most straightforward culprit for Wilkie's murder.
Okay, so he suspects Phillips.
But his true and deeply disturbing obsession was eventually revealed. He harbored this delusion that the mechanical heart could actually resurrect his deceased mother.
Resurrect her.
Yes. Whose body he had apparently preserved for 6 years.
Good grief.
Inspired, supposedly, by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and these experiments in galvanism, using electricity on corpses. Dr. Andrew Orr did some famous ones.
Wow. That's a bizarre and tragic delusion to be driven by.
It really is. It highlights that darker side of scientific curiosity when it's completely untethered from ethics.
Meanwhile, Dr. Phillips is facing his own profound struggles. His father, a respected surgeon who'd once attended a duel involving the Duke of Wellington, had died, leaving Phillips deeply affected. He inherited his father's dueling pistols.
Symbolic.
And he was haunted by these disturbing nightmares. The engine room, a constant torment.
So under all this pressure.
Exactly. Phillips devises this desperate plan to get the mechanical heart back, which, remember, he'd cleverly hidden inside Brunel's lung after the engineer's death to keep it away from Perry and Russell.
Inside his lung? Okay, wow.
Yes. So he goes as far as hiring William, a hospital porter who also happened to be a former resurrection man.
A grave robber.
A grave robber. And another one named Bittern, to exhume Brunel's coffin at Kensal Green Cemetery.
Okay, so hiring grave robbers to dig up Brunel. This is getting intense. Predictably, the grave robbing goes sideways, doesn't it? Not exactly a smooth operation.
Oh, completely sideways. Bittern betrays them, steals the heart, and then gets himself murdered shortly after.
Oh, dear.
And William gets injured in the chaos. It just further entangles Phillips in this cycle of crime and danger, so far removed from his respectable professional life.
You have to wonder what his father, the esteemed surgeon, would have made of his son's late-night cemetery excursions.
Quite. And all of this is unfolding against this backdrop of London's really severe public health crises. You had the infamous Great Stink.
Right, the Thames basically being an open sewer.
Exactly. And the constant fear of typhus and cholera epidemics. People were terrified.
That backdrop is so crucial, isn't it? It's like this parallel deep dive. Engineering for public good versus private, nefarious gain.
Absolutely. You had Dr. John Snow doing his groundbreaking work tracing cholera to polluted water.
The Broad Street Pump.
That's the one. And Joseph Bazalgette was designing his massive sewer project, a huge undertaking happening concurrently. It offers this stark contrast to the plot unfolding around Brunel's invention. One kind of engineering was literally saving lives in London, while the other was being twisted for destruction.
So the climax. It brings Phillips, Occam, and an injured William, he's still with them, to this yard where Perry intends to launch the torpedo.
The final showdown.
It's an incredibly intense confrontation. Perry reveals his true client's intentions, confirming its catch-pull scheme, really, aiming for the American South, and confirms the mechanical heart is indeed inside the torpedo.
Okay.
Phillips desperately tries to stop him. It leads to this violent struggle, and it culminates in Phillips shooting Perry.
He shoots him.
He does, and the consequences are just devastating. A massive explosion rips through the yard. Apparently, there are munitions and explosives stored nearby.
Oh, no.
Tragically, William, the former grave robber who had actually saved Phillips twice, he's killed in the blast.
William dies.
Yeah.
After everything.
Yes. Perry also dies in the Inferno. Phillips and Occam, they manage to escape the destruction somehow.
Just barely, I imagine.
And in the aftermath, they have to painstakingly search for the torpedo and the heart inside it in the muddy Thames. They even enlist the help of mudlarks, kids who scavenged in the river mud.
Back to the river?
Back to the river. It's this grim, patient effort, probing the silt with iron rods. Kind of reminiscent of those earlier gruesome discoveries of the bodies, isn't it?
Horribly so. That symmetry is quite chilling.
So what does this all mean for our protagonist, for Phillips? After this absolute whirlwind of events, the final act brings a sense of closure, maybe, but not without some lingering questions, surely.
Definitely closure, but heavy closure.
The ultimate decision is made. Bury the mechanical heart with Brunel. And you can feel Phillips grappling with this profound internal conflict. His promise to Brunel, keep it from those with nefarious intentions.
Right, Brunel's dying wish.
versus the immense potential scientific value of the device he now holds. It's a heavy burden to carry, isn't it? Sacrificing potential progress for ethical reasons.
It is, and the choice he makes, I think, speaks volumes about his character development through this whole ordeal. He's changed. The final clandestine burial is such a poignant scene. You have Phillips, Occam, Nate Wilkie's son is there too.
Oh, good. Nate's there.
And surprisingly, Florence Nightingale. They all gather at Brunel's grave. It's described as this macabre operation, difficult, physically taxing for Phillips. The stench from the open coffin. It takes a toll.
And Florence Nightingale's role there.
She plays this strong supporting role, offers this kind of exasperated support for Phillips despite his madness, as she sees it, and the huge risk to his own career. But she understands the stakes, the ethical quagmire he's in.
She gets it.
She gets it.
And for Phillips, the resolution is deeply personal, isn't it? And profound. His haunting nightmares, the ones about the engine room, they finally cease after the heart is laid to rest with its inventor.
The ghost is laid to rest, so to speak.
Exactly. As for the other key players, Lord Catchpole commits suicide before he can stand trial. A final, desperate act.
Doesn't face justice.
No. And the American Civil War, well, it continues its devastating course, despite naval blockades, underscoring the enduring consequences of the scheme he tried to orchestrate, even though it failed in this specific way.
For ripple effects.
From the dark depths of the Thames to the absolute cutting edge of Victorian invention and right into the murky world of ambition and espionage. This deep dive has really shown us how the pursuit of knowledge and power can lead down some truly unexpected and often dangerous paths.
It really has. And it raises, I think, an important question for us to consider today, even now. In a world where technological progress just moves at breakneck speed, how do we, as individuals, as a society, ensure that brilliant innovations are actually used for the betterment of humanity, rather than becoming instruments of conflict or serving some hidden nefarious purpose? It's a timeless ethical dilemma, isn't it? And the story just highlights it expertly.
It's such a powerful reminder that even the most ingenious minds can get drawn into schemes far beyond their initial intent. And that maybe critical thinking, looking at things from multiple perspectives, and having a good friend, or even apparently a former grave robber, are pretty essential when you're navigating a world that's right on the brink of profound change. What stands out to you from this incredible story? We invite you to reflect on that as you go about your day.